And in that tense environment, communication between the two sides would, of course, be essential. But there's far too little of it, says my next guest. Lucy Aharish is the first Arab Israeli to present the news in Hebrew. She straddles the divide, but with unbridled passion, has some unexpected views. I spoke to her from Tel Aviv earlier. Lucy Aharish, thank you for joining the program.
Thank you very much, Fred, for inviting me.
Lucy, you said that one of the main issues right now with the situation that's going on is that people aren't listening to each other. The communication seems to be breaking down. Why is that? And describe for us the sort of atmosphere of fear right now in your country.
As a citizen of the state of Israel, when you're walking in the streets, when you're walking on the streets, you are feeling the tension. You can feel that people are afraid. People are looking at each other in a really, suspicious way. People are like looking behind their backs to see if somebody is actually coming to stab them, or somebody is going to kill them, or somebody's going to just yell Allahu Akbar and he's going to start killing and murdering people. Or on the other side, we are seeing also cases of Jewish people stabbing Arab people because they are only Arabs. It seems that Arabs are not, and Jews are not able anymore to trust each other. Arabs and Jews are not able anymore to listen to each other. We are talking. You can hear, I can condemn, for example, 102,001 million times the fact of murdering innocent people and going against stabbing and massacring people, but people stopped listening to it. Unfortunately, if we used to speak a war between Jewish and Arab, if we used to speak a war about Israelis and Palestinians, it's not a war of Israelis and Palestinians anymore, Fred. The war is the war of religion.
But Lucy, as you said, this is not something that happened overnight. And you could see over the past couple of years, I mean, I travel to Israel quite frequently, how you've had Israelis who in the past they would go to the West Bank, who in the past they would know Palestinians. Many of them didn't want to go to the West Bank anymore. On the other side, you had Palestinians, you had Arabs who were becoming more apprehensive about their Israeli neighbors. Isn't the problem that for a very long time people have become more and more alienated?
It's for a long time we are seeing that the Israeli and the Palestinian society is going more further from one another. The Israeli and the Palestinian society, although we are living on the same land, the ideas, the lack of diplomacy, the lack of initiative, of peace initiative is creating a vacuum. And when you have a vacuum, we have a perfect example of what is happening in the Middle East. When you have a vacuum, you have terror. When you have a vacuum, and you're giving the stage to extremists from both sides. You're giving the stage to the extremists from the Jewish extreme right side and from the Muslim extreme side. And when you don't have leaders that are giving you something to control, when you don't have leaders with a path, with a direction, with something, when you don't have a mother and a father that is telling you, hey, stop doing it because I said so. It seems that we are starting to act like children, but we're starting to act like terrorist children, and we're doing whatever we want and however we want because nobody is telling us not to.
But the big problem right now, Lucy, isn't it the big problem that right now, on the one hand, you have the Israeli government that says it wants to find a security solution to all this, crack down hard on terrorists, and then you have the Palestinian leadership that's saying basically nothing, is not trying to stop anyone, is basically being defiant. It seems that on both sides, there seems to be a lack of will to try and resolve all this.
Somebody needs to do something. The silence that is coming from the United States, this is something that you cannot just stay silent on. This time, it's different. Fred, it's different. People are afraid in the streets of Israel. And I'm usually saying to people, what you're watching on TV, it's not the same what is happening on the streets. What you are watching, it's different. We're not stabbing one another. We're not killing one another. We are killing one another. We are killing ourselves. We are killing Jews and Arabs. We lost control. And it seems that the United States is not doing anything about it. And maybe, I don't know, maybe the United States doesn't want to intervene anymore. Maybe the United States given up on us. But I can also say today to the United States, it seems that also our leaders, and I'm talking to you as an Israeli, as Muslim, as an Arab, I'm telling you that it seems that also our leaders from both sides gave up on us.
Well, one of the things, though, first of all, John Kerry is going to the region, so we'll see what comes out of those diplomatic efforts. But isn't one of the things, or one of the things that I think many people are really worried about is when you have these stabbing attacks, is that it's often very, very young people who commit these things. It's in some cases people who are 13 years old. Now, you've tried speaking to some younger Palestinians. What motivates them to do this?
You know, I ask myself the same question. And, you know, when people don't have hope, when they are not going to school, when in their school and in their neighborhoods, they are seeing martyr posters and the posters of terrorists portraying them as people who are heroes, this is what you will get. Because when a 13-year-old boy doesn't have a playground, when a 13-year-old boy doesn't have, let's say, even PlayStation, or he doesn't have an iPad, or he doesn't have a book to make him interest or to put his interest in other things, he will find himself another way or another, let's say, path to idolize. And this is where again we're saying this is what happens when there is a vacuum. For these 13, 16, 14, 17-year-old boys, they don't have a persona to actually see and look up to and to say, this is how I want to be when I will grow up. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to conquer the world, and I want to be successful, and I want to have life, and I want to go and have fun, and I want to listen to music, and I want to live my life, and I want to be, you know what, famous. I want to be a fireman. People don't think that way.
Lucia Aharish, thank you for joining the program.
Thank you very much, Fred.